Retired captain in the U.S. Navy and a county commissioner in Jefferson County. Jack, welcome back to the show.
Ahoy. Thanks for having me on, sir. It's been a while.
Good to have you. Yeah, I oftentimes have an admiral in the room, sometimes a commander. Now I got a captain.
Well, it's fun to be a captain, especially when you go by Jack.
Captain Jack.
Captain Jack, because there's a couple hangers out there, Billy Joel song, and of course the famous Johnny Depp impression, which is, well, I'm neither of them,
but you'll do for now.
Well, I like the handle on it. Some of my fellow commissioners tease me and call me Captain Commissioner, which I like very much.
It's a cool title.
Because I'm very proud of having been a captain.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. And before we got on the air, he told me something amazing. We were talking a little bit about concerts. Oh. Would you tell the audience your concert thing that you told me about seeing the Beatles at Red Rock?
Yeah, saw the Beatles perform live and in person at Red Rocks Coliseum in Morrison, Colorado. And I paid the outrageous sum of, I think it was $6.60.
I've always wanted to go to Red Rocks.
I've always wanted to pay $6.60 to see the Beatles.
And they had a bunch of warm-up acts, but the most notable of the warm-up acts was the Righteous Brothers.
Nice.
Wow.
Who came on, but this was pre-Soul and Inspiration and before their big hits. So I think they did like Little Latin Loopy-Loo, which was like not much of a hit, but it was still cool that I could chalk up having seen the Righteous Brothers.
It was kind of a hit, though.
That was, they were great voices, great singing voices. But the Beatles, they performed for about a half hour at the end of the show, and then they were whisked away. And so then I chalked that up. I got to see the Beatles live and in person.
Very cool.
So it was cool. I haven't gone to many concerts since.
Well, it's hard to top that. I mean, you've seen the Beatles.
I saw Beatlemania in the late 70s, early 80s when that tour was going around. They actually were pretty convincing. When you're watching them, you're going, wow, they really do look and sound just like the Beatles.
Yeah, and they but with the Beatles, I've seen Alice Cooper concerts twice, but my claim to fame is Paul McCartney, whom I think the first one I saw was 76 and then 93, and then we did another concert. The family did a concert back a couple years ago down in D.C., and the tickets to that were well over $200.
A little different.
So there was a big difference between the $6
Oh,
and the
yeah.
Beatles. But McCartney, if you ever get a chance to see somebody perform, he has no warm-up group. He's on the stage the entire time, and at one point he gives the band a break, and he stays out on stage and performs solo with his guitar and does like Yesterday. Just Paul.
That's phenomenal.
He's a legend, obviously. He's a legend.
Amazing performer.
Yeah. Jack, let's talk about Jefferson County and the commission. What committees do you serve on? I think it's 5, right?
I am very, very fortunate. My committees are not flashpoints right now in the county. So I'm not on the Planning Commission, and I don't do JCDA, but I am on LEPC, which is the Local Emergency Preparedness Committee.
So you must work with Steve Allen.
Steve Allen is just an awesome person. He and that committee does so many things. In fact, they're running an exercise, a preparedness exercise later in this week. So I haven't been to one of their exercises, but if you have me on, and if you have me on with Steve, you're going to have a hard time keeping us to shut up because we both are pretty chatty. He's a great guy. I also support the Board of Health. Dr. Terrence Reedy is my guy on that, and he's also very awesome. And that whole board, Karen Bailey Chapman is the president of that board. She runs a great meeting. The Board of Health is doing a fabulous job. They do a lot of immunizations and inspections, but Dr. Reedy is absolutely top-notch. He was the doctor who was in attendance for my wife when she had cancer and passed away over 5.5 years ago. Not his fault. He did a great job. Yeah. But Dr. Reedy has got high marks for me. Some of the other, I also am on Parks and Recreation, and Parks and Recreation can do no wrong. I mean, they do a great job on everything. They Jennifer Myers runs that organization with a strong hand, but strong, steady, but sympathetic. I mean, she does a great job.
Let me ask you a Parks and Rec question while we're talking about that, because in Berkeley County, it's funded by the city, the county, and the school board. How is it done in Jefferson County?
Well, I don't know all of their funding, but I know that we give them a large chunk of money based on the hotel motel tax. I think they get most of it. A little bit goes to Arts Council, and a little bit goes to the historic.
But the cities in Jefferson County have their own Parks and Rec, correct?
You know, that's yeah, but I don't think anybody can match what Jennifer is doing.
No, I'm not detracting.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, in the city of Martinsburg, that Parks and Rec department is part of the greater county Parks and Rec program. But in the cities in Jefferson County, are they separate, or do you not? That's
the
not your thing.
municipalities in Jefferson County march to their own drum as a rule. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was that they had their own funding for their own little deals. But at least with the meetings that I've been to with Parks and Rec, there doesn't seem to be any real borders. Jefferson County Parks and Recs wants to do the right thing every place that they can. And Jennifer, she could be the ad for the Energizer Bunny. She really she's a high energy person, and she's very, very, very competent.
Very good.
And she has a team of people. I think she has 10 support commissioners that help her out. She puts them all to work. But she's awesome. I also support the Jefferson County Historic Landmarks Commission, which does some wonderful things. As you know, they do the Peter Burr Farm. They take care of that. They also take care of they're refurbishing Duffield Station, which is their big project right now, which is fairly expensive for a pretty small building, but I think it's the oldest standing railway station in the United States, and they're fixing that up and doing a great job with that. I also support the Jefferson County 250 years celebration. There's a committee that's run by Lori Wysong out of the museum, which is in the basement of the old building.
Is she related to Locke Wysong? Is she related to Locke Wysong?
You know, I don't really know, but that's not a particularly common name, so it's very possible she is. But she is another jewel, another wonderful person, and we are pretty excited on the commission because, as you know, we bought those two new buildings
from APIS.
That's right, and we'll be vacating the old buildings. But my criteria for supporting the whole thing is the county courthouse is sacred territory and it needs to be protected. The John Brown treason trial.
Will it be?
The miners, and the miners treason trial was also held there. I think the only 2 treason trials in the United States were held in that building, and I consider it to be a sacred territory. When I got elected, we had the option of being sworn in the basement of the library. And I said, no, I want to be sworn in at the courthouse. And the other commissioners who were sworn in at the same time agreed. So all of us wound up getting sworn in at the county courthouse, because to me that's really a special place. I get a little teared up when I think about it because it's special. I'm a history guy. That's how I got to be on so many history groups. But
let's talk JCDA. You brought it up a moment ago that's a flashpoint. You weren't. You're not necessarily on that. You're not the liaison for that. But we've talked to the other county commissioners about this situation there, and have not yet gotten a chance to speak with you. Your take on how the board was dissolved and then ultimately rehired and replaced.
Well,
and does Liz Ricketts have some points or a case?
Well, everybody has points to their case, and it's worth listening to everybody. I feel her pain. I don't like. As a human being, I don't like anybody getting hurt feelings off of being removed for a committee. But what I'd like to point out, it wasn't an individual action against her. The entire board was dissolved, and at the time it was dissolved, it was very clear that it was going to be reformulated or reconstituted. So it was like a group action. Like I say, we got a very good in-depth briefing prior to our actions. from Nathan Cochran, who's supported the county commission very well over the years. He has a lot of history there and knows a lot of the in stuff. So I thought that the resolution by the county commission to dissolve the board and reconstitute it later, also in the light of House Bill 2479, which allowed us to fluctuate the number of members. So it was going to initially be reconstituted, I think, with 9 members. By the way, everybody was invited to reapply that had been on the board. I was hoping that we would get almost 100%, and I think we got like 4 people that were on the JCDA to reapply. Liz Rickwitz was one of them. I'm glad she reapplied. I know she's very passionate about what she does. I don't know her very well. I knew her father, Brett Ricketts, because he was involved in Campaign for Liberty many, many years ago. I don't know what the status is of that anymore, but I know Liz is very impassioned, and that speaks to her very positively. But my feeling is that the nothing was coming out of the JCDA. And as a commissioner,
you mean in terms of bringing new business to Jefferson County?
Yeah, bringing new business, and I would have liked to have seen something that I could vote no on, or possibly even yes, because I favor us getting larger businesses into the county, but I am in lockstep with many of the other commissioners who want new business, but we want clean business, sustainable business, and we want to grow our tax base and our job base in Jefferson County, and bringing in some larger businesses to go along with the crunch of housing. Would like to get some commercial taxes in there. So and Liz, in her defense, I know is very, very environmentally conscious and probably wants to do best for the county. But in my opinion, we have to move a little bit forward. With that said, I'm not going to support anything that can be considered an environmental danger or hazard to the county. So I mean, I haven't changed any of my campaign promises or pledges. So I brought you one of my old.
You campaigned on transparency. Are you satisfied with the transparency of the entire process?
Well, let me tell you. I got elected. I filled an unexpired term, so I got sworn in early, November 19th, a day that will live in infamy.
Right there in Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. So it's basically I got a 4-year, 1 month, and 11-day term, and I was expecting a train wreck based on previous years. Didn't find one. The county administrator does an absolutely marvelous job managing the internal affairs of the county commission.
That's Eddie Benitez.
Eddie Benitez couldn't be better. She's a gift. She's the hardest working person I think I've ever met in my life, and I've known quite a few workaholics. She's probably, I will say, I would give her the #1 designee as being the best hardworking person. When we had the kerfuffle with the shutting down of the day center, the day report center, she was on the phone, worked very closely with our friends in Berkeley County, who gave us a big hand, and got that. What could have been a disaster. I mean, a real disaster. She's done an amazing job on many other things. She doesn't like the publicity associated with it, but I can't help tip my hat to her. And I think she's universally appreciated by the current county commissioners.
Yep. Back to the transparency issue.
Back to the transparency. Let me give you a little story. I'll make it short. Something very unique happened in Jefferson County in 2024. It turned out that 4 of the 5 county commissioners were on the ballot and were going to be elected at the same time. Now, what that meant is the 4 of us who were the Republican candidates campaigned together. We did forums together, talk show stuff. You know, I paid attention to what basically we listened to each other and kind of learned what the heck everybody else was about. Well, I've known Michael Mood, for instance, for 7 or 8 years. He is probably one of the most upstanding people I've ever met in my life. He is solid, rock solid as far as morals is concerned. I didn't know Kara very, very well, but she has absolutely impressed me. I served with her on the Planning Commission. This new person showed up on the Planning Commission, and it was like she'd been there for 20 years. She knew her stuff. And I think you've had her on here and asking her Planning Commission stuff. So that's good. Pasha, I didn't know him very well before the campaign, but he has actually impressed me. I was a little worried about him because of his background as a lobbyist and what I thought was where he supported Green New Deal, which I opposed the Green New Deal. But at the same time, he's a conservation. He's not an environmentalist. And if you ever want to have him come on and talk about that stuff, he has a really, really good story. But again, he wants to do what's right for the commission. So as far as transparency is concerned, if the Jefferson County Commission is having secret meetings, I haven't been invited to any of them. Michael Mood wouldn't stand for it. He's a retired police officer. He's a high upstanding guy. Kara is too. She's very religious, wonderful person. She wouldn't put up with it. Pasha's a straight arrow guy. That would mean that Steve Stollifer is having secret meetings with himself. And
which is legal, by the way.
It's legal. In fact, I can talk on the phone to Steve, and Steve has been probably, if you look at the votes on the county commission, Steve and I have probably been on the opposite sides of the votes more than any other commissioners. For instance, the impact fees. That's just one. But there have been other instances. But with all that said, we don't call each other names. If I lose a vote and I get put down 4 to 1, I don't walk out there feeling butthurt. I mean, it's been pretty professional, and which gives me so your transparency question is, I don't see the transparency being a problem. I think the Jefferson County Commission is acting honorably. If something came up as a retired naval officer, our oaths don't expire, I would shout it out. I'd call you and say, I need to come on your show and talk about the violations that I'm seeing. I'm not seeing any violations, and I'm certainly not seeing any violations of the Open Meetings Act. When I go someplace and there's other commissioners there, always make sure I sit at a different table, or that I'm separated at least by 1 or 2 people, so that I'm not sitting there talking to another commissioner. So we won't give the impression of us doing anything, but most of the time when we're out socially, we don't talk that much about the county commission, if at all. We talk about kids and sporting events and concerts and the neat things that are going on in Jefferson County. We talk a lot about our new building, and I'm just very excited to see what's going to happen with that. We should be, by the way, in the new building, and all the administrative offices should be in the new building by the end of 2026, and that frees up several of those buildings on that block for sale or transfer to another government agency. Charlestown would be my personal favorite to transfer. They still have to, there would be some cash associated with it, but it would be nice if they would pick up those buildings, because that would be vital in revitalizing Charlestown. So, I mean, I love Charlestown. I would like Charlestown to have some of the flair of Shepherdstown, for instance, and Harper's Ferry. So it's a lot going on in Jefferson County. I say as I thought it was going to be a train wreck. Well, it has been a bumpy ride at some times, but transparency's not one of the problems. I think we're pretty much an open book. I've told several people who are detractors of the county commission, they have my telephone number. They may call me anytime, ask any question. I'll give them the straight scoop. I'll let them know what's going on, or what I know, let's put it that way. But I'm just not seeing any sort of that underhanded, backroom deals, nothing like that at all. So I'm pretty satisfied with that aspect of the way I ran on my campaign, and I think the others ran very similarly. But it is a little irritating to get people acting like we're doing some sort of underhanded stuff. And I say, where's the evidence of that? No one has any evidence.
Well, that's the thing these days. You don't need evidence. They all have social media. Everybody's a reporter within their own home. Let me ask a question.
Sure.
You've talked about a lot of things going well.
Mm-hmm.
What is not going well? What needs to be changed? What are you guys working on as a commission? I mean, besides the Development Authority stuff, what are you guys working on as a commission where you say, hey, this is not going well, or maybe this department needs some help or more oversight? What needs to be changed?
Jack, I have 1 minute left, so you may have to continue this on the next show.
Only 1 minute left? My God, I did kind of. Well, let's put it this way: we haven't been in the 4 newly elected commissioners haven't been in office for more than 9 months, and we're working.
9 months will create a baby.
We are.
You should changes can be made in government in 9 months.
We don't want it to be Rosemary's Baby. We're looking for something a little more concrete, and we're working on trying to improve things. Most of the county functions are going very well.
Nice.
I don't have a bad guy. If we did, I'd be screaming about it, but we don't.
Jack, appreciate the visit. See you again soon.
Hey, thank you very much. I'd love to come on again if you're willing to have me.
I am certainly willing to do that. We are back with more, including the owner of this establishment, Delegate Michael Hornby, who's heading up a delegation headed to Ireland for business coming up.